You're sitting with someone you've known for years. You've told them your secrets. You've shown up for them when things got hard. You've defended them when other people talked. And something feels off. Not dramatically. Not in a way you can easily explain. Just this quiet, low-level feeling that something isn't adding up. You replay conversations. You think about how they responded when you got good news. How quickly they made it about themselves. How they were suddenly too busy when you needed them, but always available when they needed something from you. And you start wondering, was this ever real? Or have I just been useful? That feeling you can't quite name. Psychology has a name for it. And once you understand what's actually happening, you'll never miss the signs again. If this already hit something in you, subscribe. This channel is where we get into the psychology most people sense but can't explain. Like this video. Drop a comment below. Have you ever realized someone you trusted wasn't who you thought? And hit like so more people find this before they need it. Now, let's get into it. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Fake friends are not obvious. If they were obvious, they wouldn't work. The whole mechanism depends on appearing real. What makes this so disorienting is that fake friendships don't usually start fake. In the beginning, there is warmth. There is attention. There is the feeling of being chosen by someone. And that feeling is powerful. Your brain registers it as connection. It releases the same bonding chemicals that real relationships produce. So your nervous system gets attached before your logic has had time to catch up. This is why people feel so blindsided when the truth eventually surfaces. It's not that they were stupid or naive. It's that their brain was doing exactly what brains are supposed to do: respond to warmth. The problem is that warmth can be performed. And some people are very good at performing it. Psychologists call this strategic affiliation. The fake friend isn't randomly friendly. They're friendly with intention. They are building access to something. Your network, your resources, your loyalty, your emotional support, your status. They're making an investment they plan to collect on, and they're patient enough to wait. One of the clearest signs, and one most people miss until they look back, is what psychologists call asymmetric availability. It simply means the relationship only flows in one direction. Think about it carefully. When you were struggling, who showed up? When something went wrong at 11 at night and you needed someone to talk to, who was there? Now flip it. When they were struggling, where were you? Probably there. Probably immediately. Fake friends are consistently available when they need something from you. They are consistently unavailable when you need something from them. And they're very skilled at making their absence sound reasonable. They're tired. They're dealing with their own stuff. The timing is just bad. Each individual excuse sounds fair, but the pattern, the consistent pattern of being there for themselves and absent for you, that's the data. Real friendship is not perfectly equal at every moment. Life moves. Sometimes one person needs more, but over time, in a real friendship, it balances. You can feel the effort going both ways. With a fake friend, you keep waiting for it to balance, and it never does. Because balance was never the point. This one is subtle, but it is one of the most reliable tests of a friendship that exists. Tell someone genuinely good news, and watch what happens in the next 30 seconds. Not what they say, what they do. A real friend lights up. Their response is immediate and unguarded. They ask questions. They want details. They stay on your good news because your happiness actually makes them happy. Psychologists call this active, constructive responding. And research consistently shows it is one of the strongest predictors of relationship quality. A fake friend does something different. They might say congratulations. They might even sound enthusiastic for a moment. But then something happens. The subject shifts. Back to them. To a story of their own. To a subtle comment that reframes your win as not that big a deal. Or the enthusiasm is just slightly too flat, too fast, too practiced. What you're detecting is envy dressed up as support. And the reason it's so confusing is that they don't drop the mask completely. They perform the right response. But underneath, your success is uncomfortable for them because they were never rooting for you. They were rooting for you to need them. Your good news threatening them is information. Pay attention to it. Here is something that will save you years of misplaced trust. How someone talks about other people tells you everything about how they talk about you. If a friend regularly tells you other people's secrets, talks badly about mutual friends the moment they leave the room, shares private things that were clearly told in confidence, understand one thing clearly. You are not the exception. You are next. People who treat other people's private lives as entertainment do not suddenly develop discretion when it comes to yours. The same mouth that tells you everything about everyone else is the same mouth talking about you to everyone else. You just don't hear that part? Fake friends often use gossip as a bonding tool. They pull you close by making you feel like you're on the inside, like you're trusted with information. It feels like intimacy. It isn't. It's leverage. They're building a dynamic where secrets are currency, and they're collecting as much as they can from as many people as possible. Be careful what you share with someone who shares everything. Real friendships feel easy most of the time, not without conflict. Real friendships have conflict, but the baseline energy is easy. You don't feel like you owe something every time you see them. You don't leave conversations feeling slightly smaller than when you arrived. Fake friends create invisible debt. They do favors that were never asked for, and then reference them constantly. They remind you of what they've done for you in moments when you try to establish a boundary. They make you feel guilty for having needs of your own. They position themselves as more loyal, more giving, more sacrificial than they actually are. And they use that positioning to control how much you can push back. Psychologists call this manufactured obligation. It's a form of social manipulation that keeps you in a dynamic you might otherwise walk away from. Because walking away feels ungrateful. Because they've done so much for you, haven't they? Notice how often you feel like you owe them something. Notice whether the favors feel genuinely generous, or whether they always seem to arrive right before they need something from you. Timing tells the truth. Here is one of the hardest truths about fake friendship. Some people are not friends with you. They are friends with what you represent. Your job, your connections, your social status, the doors you can open, the way being around you makes them look. You can test this without doing anything dramatic. Just have a hard season, lose the job, go through the breakup, step back from the social scene for a while. Let things get quieter and less impressive. Then watch who stays. Real friends stay because they are there for you, the actual person. Fake friends fade because the thing they were there for is temporarily gone. They don't disappear with drama. They just become gradually less available. The texts slow down. The check-ins stop. They are friendly if they see you, but the effort, the real effort, evaporates. And then the moment things pick back up, when the new opportunity arrives or the status returns, they reappear, warm again, present again, acting like nothing changed. Because for them, nothing did. You were always a resource. The resource just got useful again. Understanding fake friendship is not about becoming paranoid or closing yourself off from people. It's about being honest with yourself about what you're actually seeing, instead of explaining it away, because the alternative is painful. Stop defending people whose behavior you keep having to defend. When you notice yourself making excuses for someone, they're just busy. They didn't mean it that way. They're going through a lot. Ask yourself how long you've been making that same excuse. A year of the same excuse is not an excuse anymore. It's a pattern. Stop pouring energy into relationships that only exist in one direction. It's not loyalty to keep showing up for someone who has shown you repeatedly they won't show up back. It's habit, and habits can be broken. And stop grieving what was never real. This is the hardest part. When you finally see a fake friend clearly, that there's a grief that hits, not just for the friendship, but for the version of them you believed in. That version was never there. You were close with a performance, and you deserved something real. The space that opens up when you let go of fake friendships is not emptiness. It's room. Room for something that's actually worth your trust. You are not too sensitive for noticing. You are not too demanding for wanting consistency. You are not the problem for finally paying attention. You just figured out what your gut has been trying to tell you for a while. Subscribe if you want to keep going deeper into the psychology most people never get taught. The next video is going to show you the kind of people who are worth trusting, and exactly what makes them different. You'll want that one.